Chad and I head out for a late-night snack. The streets are quiet, and the city feels strangely calm. After walking for a bit, we stop in front of a small ramen shop tucked between two older buildings. A small bell rings as we step inside. The smell of broth immediately hits me. For a moment, everything looks completely normal. A few patrons are hunched over their bowls. The chef stands behind the counter working over a large pot. Chad and I sit down at a small table near the middle of the shop. I grab one of the menus while Chad studies his like it's the most important decision he'll make today. I look towards the back of the shop. At first, I think I'm just tired. Maybe my eyes are playing tricks on me. But the longer I stare, the clearer it becomes. There is a lion sitting in the back booth. A full-grown lion with a massive mane and golden fur. Just sitting there like a regular customer. And he is eating ramen. He calmly lifts noodles with chopsticks and slurps them like he's done this 1,000 times before. I slowly lower the menu and lean toward Chad. Chad. He doesn't look up.
Yeah?
There is a lion eating ramen in the back of this shop. Chad finally glances up and follows my gaze toward the booth in the corner. He stares for a few seconds, then shrugs and looks back at the menu.
Yeah, I see him.
I blink. You see him.
Yeah.
And you're okay with that? Chad flips the page of the menu.
As long as he doesn't order the last bowl of ramen, I don't see a problem.
I stare at him for a second, waiting for him to laugh or admit he's joking. But he just keeps reading like nothing unusual is happening. My curiosity slowly takes over. I stand up from the table and start walking toward the booth in the back. Chad sighs and follows behind me. We stop in front of the lion's table. The lion slowly looks up from his bowl and stares at me with large golden eyes. For a moment, nobody says anything. I clear my throat. Excuse me. The lion keeps staring at me. I try again. Nice night, huh? The lion suddenly lets out a deep roar that shakes the entire shop. The sound vibrates through the tables, and bowls rattle slightly. I instinctively jump backward. The lion calmly lowers his head and continues eating his noodles like nothing happened. I slowly turn my head toward Chad. Did he just... Before I can finish my sentence, the front door bursts open with a loud crash. Something flies into the shop at full speed. It takes my brain a second to process what I'm looking at. A motorcycle is floating in the air. Blue flames blast out from the back as the engine roars through the small restaurant. And sitting on that motorcycle is another lion. This one looks completely different. He's huge, muscular, like he spends 6 hours a day at the gym. I stare in disbelief. Okay, I have to admit the bike is actually pretty sick. The lion jumps off the motorcycle. He looks furious for some reason, and immediately starts roaring toward the chef behind the counter. The chef doesn't react at all. He just keeps stirring the broth like this is completely normal. Meanwhile, the first lion in the booth continues eating his ramen peacefully. Apparently this kind of thing happens here all the time. I slowly step a little closer to the floating motorcycle. I can't help it. I'm curious. Excuse me, Mr. Lion. The muscular lion turns his head toward me. That bike is pretty insane. I point at the floating motorcycle hovering behind him. Where did you get something like that? The lion suddenly starts laughing. It's a strange, deep laugh that echoes through the shop. For a moment, he almost seems friendly. Then his expression instantly changes, and he lets out another furious roar. The sound startles me so badly that I stumble backward and nearly trip over my own feet. I quickly turn toward Chad. Chad, what is happening right now? But something feels wrong. Very wrong. The person standing next to me doesn't look like Chad anymore. The air around him seems to distort for a moment. I blink. Where Chad was standing just a second ago, there is now a tall humanoid figure with a massive horse head. Its eyes glow red and its shadow stretches across the floor toward me. My heart immediately starts racing. I can barely move. The creature slowly leans down toward me, its nostrils flaring as it stares directly into my face. Then it opens its mouth and unleashes an unbelievably loud neigh that echoes through the entire ramen shop. The sound is so powerful that everything around me starts to blur. The lights flicker. The tables vibrate. The lions stare at the creature in disbelief. They both jump onto the floating bike and dip. Now I'm left alone with a demonic humanoid horse in front of me. For a moment it feels like the entire room is collapsing in on itself. Everything becomes brighter and louder at the same time. Then suddenly everything goes black. I shoot upright in my bed, gasping for air. My heart is pounding so hard it feels like it might break through my chest, and I almost fall out of bed before managing to steady myself. I quickly look around my room. Everything is normal. No lions, no floating motorcycles, no horse demons. I rub my face and let out a long sigh. I notice I'm still wearing my clothes from earlier, jacket wrinkled, shoes still on. I pause for a moment. Did I just crash like this? I don't even remember taking my stuff off. I shake my head. Man, I seriously need to stop watching brain rot videos before going to sleep. Right on cue, my phone buzzes on the nightstand. I pick it up and see a new message from Chad. I check the time, 3:02 a.m. I stare at the screen for a moment. What could Chad possibly want at 3 in the morning? I open the notification. It's a video link. The title reads, Bananina Cappuccino, Brain Rot Level, 120%. Try not to brain rot challenge. Expert. I stare at the title for a few seconds before slowly shaking my head. Of course. I place the phone back down on the nightstand without opening the video. Not tonight. I change into my pajamas and crawl back into bed. A few hours later, sunlight slowly fills my room and I wake up again. I glance at the clock next to my bed. 7 a.m. Somehow I manage to get some solid sleep without another nightmare. I feel surprisingly rested. Across town, Chad wakes up a bit later. Well, a lot later actually. It's 1 p.m., but that's standard for him. He sits up in his bed and immediately notices a half-empty bag of chips lying next to him. He looks at the bag thoughtfully for a moment.
I've got some unfinished business.
Then he digs in.